Welcome to the Trenton Freedom Coaches Show with head coach Kevin O'Hanlon and Darren Winberg. Our guest this week, wide receiver Tom Schrader. From Adrenaline Sports, Chad Hallett. Welcome to the Trenton Freedom Coaches Show.
My name's Darren Winberg. I'm with head coach Kevin O'Hanlon of the Piffle Trenton Freedom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, welcome into our first show. We're pleased to have you here.
I'm excited to be here.
Well, that's good. So tell us, you've been coach for how long?
I've been coaching at the professional level. This will be my 10th year. Okay. It's my first year as a head coach. I've been a defensive coordinator, a line coach, special teams coordinator. So kind of really earned my comeuppings coming up through the levels. Okay,
nice. Now, what makes you think you're going to be a great head coach for a first professional coming from a defensive background?
I have a great staff.
Okay.
It's really an offensive game, and we've always been successful, myself and the staff, defensively. For years, we've had either the number one or number two defense in the league. I think we just have a good all-around understanding of the game and work well together.
Okay. So now it's your first job as an offensive guy, head coach. Now, tell us how you came up from the ranks from before to where you came to now.
I started off as an unpaid volunteer coach.
Okay.
Actually came up through the ranks and became a special teams coordinator.
Okay.
Had success there and a team that was pretty dismal as far as wins and losses go.
The cream rises to the top, though, and you were it.
Yeah, and we had to actually end up with the second best special teams in the league, which was nice because before I took over, we were last.
Congrats.
But again, I was lucky enough to be working with the same staff that I'll be bringing to Trenton with me.
Okay.
So I think we just have that camaraderie and that trust that I know I could talk to Coach Parham or talk to Coach Kohler, and it's getting done.
Yeah.
Respect but inspect. I don't got to supervise them all the time or look over them, and I just know that it's going to get done.
You have that familiarity with these guys.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's real beneficial because at this level, it's major minor league sports.
Yep.
Really here today, gone tomorrow, kind of a coaching thing, and especially with players. So having that comfort level and knowing that looking up that they're local, it's not one of those cases where we're moving away for 9 months to go coach in another city. I'm home here in Trenton, and they're coming from Pennsylvania, so it's still closer than the norm.
Nice.
So it's nice.
So this is Trenton. Now, there's been some past in Trenton.
Yeah, there's been some negative.
Yes.
They've had two previous teams before us, the Trenton Lightning and the most previous team, the Trenton Steel, who the community seemed to take a great response to the Steel. I remember coming from Lehigh, where I was coaching, to the Steel games just to see what they were doing different and actually just look at players because they're in a different league. And I was amazed at how many fans were there. And to find out next year they're gone, I mean, I'm sure I was shocked just as much as Trenton that there wasn't an announcement, there wasn't anything leading up to possibly moving or not being there. So that's the 800-pound gorilla to say in a room that we have to earn a lot of that trust back.
Yep.
But talking to ownership, coming to Trenton, it just felt right from the door. First sat down, talked to ownership. They never spoke football. They spoke about the community, and I knew from doing this for a while that you got to win them over. And the task at hand to win over a community that's been burned twice.
Got to get butts in the seats to come see you play.
From the fans to our community partners through sponsorship and stuff, it's been tough. We've taken a few things on the chin that we have to answer for. I'm trying to be as good sport about it as I can. I mean, sometimes it gets frustrating, to be completely honest, where you're kind of paying dues for a completely different organization. And it could just be something where this form of media lets the people know it's not the same ownership.
Yeah.
Just because we're playing in the same building, it's completely different ownership.
Completely different ownership.
Absolutely. And they're not going anywhere. Another big attraction was the fact that they paid their bills for 3 years. So it's hard to sit back and just invite all of Trenton to say, look, all the bills are paid. We're not going anywhere.
So we can expect this team around for at least 3 years.
At least 3 years. And if something was to happen with ownership and they didn't want to be part of the organization anymore, the league could then take over and find new ownership. But we have two phenomenal owners, local Trentonian and Dennis Williams, who it's important to him. So he's so invested, it's not funny. I mean, these are his streets. This is where he grew up. And he wants to bring back quality entertainment for the family and just come back home, and do something. Mike Schubiger is another owner who's just, he's the brass tacks guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy that when you go to him, you need something, have a reason. You request something, a lot of the times, as long as you go at them with a reason and it makes sense, it's not an issue, which at this level is phenomenal. Because we're doing everything from start, everything from scratch. And they're not doing, as I used to call it, backroom deals, where they're getting equipment that might be used or smashed or bashed. Everything is new. They're doing it that way. They want to be as NFL as they can as far as front office.
Set you guys up for success.
Absolutely, absolutely. And having ownership like that is it's great. It makes recruiting a lot easier. Makes the 18 and 20-hour days a lot easier. And you want it. Like I tell them, since you hired me, I've not worked a day.
Yeah.
So the last 2.5 months, I've not worked a day. I had a day off, but I haven't worked a day yet.
Now, you mentioned 2.5 months. Now, we've known each other, get to know each other. You mentioned ownership from day one. How great is it to work for an ownership that prides themselves on family-oriented, necessarily not winning a lot of games, but just to work for a guy like that?
It's great because it's literally both owners. At our workout, a lot of people probably didn't realize both families were there.
Yeah.
They're not owners that want to sit behind the scenes and be that way as far as just go handle it and we get to own a football team, look at us. No, they're boots on the ground owners. I probably kind of a little bit mixed feelings because I don't want other coaches to know how great I have it here. I don't want no one wanting my job.
Yeah, exactly.
And the sad thing is everybody should want to come to Trenton. I've worked for great organizations. Lehigh Valley Steelhawks and Mike Clark and Glenn Clark were phenomenal owners. They get it too. They get what needs to get done for the community. And coming here, at first there was a little bit of nerves, like, are they going to get what needs to get done? And again, going back to the original meeting with them, all they talked about was the community. So it's phenomenal. Now, don't get me wrong, Mr. Williams is all about the community and making sure we always kind of refer to a restaurant experience where you go to the restaurant for the meal, but maybe they're playing great music in the background. Well, we want the football to be the background music and the fan experience to be the meal, which it's nice that they get that. It's not saying the football's not important, my job's not important. It's the fans that are important. We want them to sit back, and maybe they don't know the score in the middle of the third quarter, but the kids are happy. They're talking about the stuff going on in the stands or the different kinds of things we can do on the field with media breaks. So that's big. And Mike Schubager is awesome because he's kind of the polar opposite. Came in, you're the head man, you're the head coach, congratulations. I expect to be competitive. That's great. Turns around, 8-4 is competitive.
Okay.
So I'm thinking 1-0. That's all I'm thinking.
Yeah.
8-4, first-year team. Guys never played with each other, but we go 1-0. We'll be okay. Everybody should want to come and play here again. Next year is going to be even greater. We've got top-line talent.
Yeah.
This year, next year, I can't imagine because when players start to talk, or they come into the Sunbank and see the locker rooms and see the arena, and we get the fans involved and it's loud.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. It's going to one thing after another. It's like a snowball going down the hill of good luck and positive trees all in one kind of a thing. That at the end, when it gets down to the end, it's all positive, and it sounds so, I guess, cliche for lack of a better term, but it's really that good.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, that's great. Now let's talk about your players. I've seen some of them. You've signed a few.
Yes, sir.
What are you seeing as far as talent-wise?
I was nervous at first. First-year teams struggle to sign that quality talent. Again, leading back to my coaching staff, we've been together for so long that we have a good rapport moving players up.
You know what you're looking for, too.
Exactly. The defense knows, because it's mostly defensive guys, exactly what we need to be successful. And let it be players that maybe played for us last year that we're going to bring on, or 2 years ago, or just from scouting and recruiting and understanding. We have some former NFL players that, for whatever reason, this is where they're at in their life, looking to move up, and just getting some league MVPs that are leaving the comfort nest of wherever they played, which is a big deal because players become very associated with the towns that they play at. And when you're becoming a positional, or heck, we got 2 league MVPs, the fans don't want to let them go.
Yep.
And I'm smiling on that because, we're getting your guys, so we must be doing something right, and your fans are a little bit upset. Our fans should be extremely happy. And it's going to be important for us to really start introducing the players so the community knows. And a big thing we've done is we found local talent right in Trenton. In the beginning of the process, maybe we'll get 1 or 2 guys. We have multiple guys from Trenton that can play the game. So it's going to be a big thing for us in the coming weeks to make sure that we're really getting them out in the community, getting the fans to know them, who they are.
Build that reputation back up to where it can be.
Yeah, I mean, if they're willing to come play in Trenton, the team must not be going anywhere.
Exactly.
So it's good for business and good for the fans that you're going to walk down the street to Trenton and see a professional football player.
Nice.
And, you know, he's accessible.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like you've got a good thing going on. Finally, let's talk about the sponsorships you guys have going on with the community. I know you guys have a few here going there. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Again, first thing was to get back into the community. So we're really attacking Trenton and the surrounding areas, but really Trenton because that's where Dennis is from.
Yep.
And we want to partner with Trenton. There's nothing better than bringing that money into Trenton. You're going to have a professional football team with teams coming from all up and down the East Coast, and a lot of these teams travel well.
Yep.
So we're going to be bringing that business back into Trenton. So yeah, we want our partners on board. So maybe you're going to stay at a local hotel.
Yep.
Well, guess where we're going to send the visiting team and their visiting fans? You need a bite to eat. Visiting team, visiting fans. I mean, to travel 27 players, maybe 5 or 6 coaches, and hey,
It's a lot of revenue coming into Trenton.
and that's important.
Yep.
We wouldn't be going through this extent if we didn't plan for the long road. Like we understand it's year one. We're not looking to break the bank as far as bringing money. We're not really even, I don't want to say consciously paying attention to it, but we know the business plan.
Yeah.
And we know what we're trying to do. We know what's important, and it's great to know what important is. People have never even been to a game yet.
Yeah.
People who might not have heard of the Trenton Freedom until we're calling them and knocking them, introducing ourselves to them.
And the buzz is going around town.
And the buzz is starting to go around town, and I've noticed it a little bit. I've kind of been in the forefront with a lot of things, so hopefully, you know, as we get players in, it kind of starts to switch and rotate. Not that I don't like it. I love being the face of a franchise like this, to be associated with it, but it's definitely important to get the players out there.
Excellent. Well, Coach, appreciate it. Give us a
sir.
quick buzz of the website where you can check you guys out.
Yes, check the Trenton Freedom at www.trentonfreedom.com. And yeah, also, season tickets are about to go on sale, so that's big.
Excellent. Thanks, Coach. Stay with us. We'll be back after this break.
So you've been thinking about changing careers? Well, now is the perfect time to check out Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Discover the exciting world of audio and video production. They have a campus right here in Cherry Hill.
Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or visit gocsb.com.
Welcome back. We're pleased to be joined by Chad Hallett.
How you doing, man?
Doing well. Owner of Adrenaline Sports and the partnership with the Trenton Freedom.
Yes.
Now, how did this become involved?
We met at the Life Center. I was doing a combine for another company. They were recruiting players, scouting, and they just liked what we done that day, so he invited me to come up, run their combine for them, and then just a relationship was forged from that.
Now, did Coach think you're a football player, or was he recruiting you for the D-line, or what?
Nah, it's strictly for training purposes.
Nice. Now, what's your background?
I have a background in exercise science. I'm also a massage therapist. Study fitness, nutrition, fitness therapy, so I do a lot of rehab work. So
Nice. Now, Coach, he's a partnership with you guys. Tell us a little bit about that.
Like you had said, we had met at an open workout, like an invitational workout, and I just sat back and I thought, number one, wow, everything's laser timed, which I thought was nice. And as I'm standing there, they're coming around and they're introducing themselves, and I'm like, they're working the event. Yeah. And I said, how professional is that? So right away in my head, I started thinking back to Lehigh Valley days. We had another company that was great value addedness to the organization that the players liked, because the kind of players that we'll be bringing in, they're going to come get lost for 5 months about football. And they want to make sure their bodies are taken care of. And, you know, there's people out there that say they know what they're doing, but they don't know what they're doing, you know. And that's just something that I don't want to be partnered with. So like Chad was saying, we had spoke and we had talked and came out and worked the workout. And the crazy thing about our workout was people who got released, I guess to say, or not signed, were hitting me up through social media or texting me like, that was the best workout I've ever had. That was great. And to me, that's the kind of impression we want to make. And I felt that was very important, because the players who we did sign were like, man, I'm beat. Yeah. Which was also another added bonus, because the whole time our one owner, who kind of stays in the background, Mike, he's like, how are you going to sign? How am I going to sign? How's that guy? He looks great. And I'm like, Mike, just relax. You'll start seeing the separation of people. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I said, just start seeing people who've been trained. Now, not trained meaning they go to the gym, but trained how to run a 40. Train how to run a 5-10-5 drill, the shuttle drill. Just knowing how they use their body, the tool of their body. And as it went on, he said, Kev, you know what, I see what you mean. And it just goes hand in hand with what he does, because he already knows.
Yeah.
And as a coach, you're sitting back looking, and you do ask him, what do you see? What do you think? This guy's trained, this guy's not trained. And that's big. There's several athletes out there, but if they don't know their body, they're going to get hurt. And they're spending too much time with this man over here to recoup from an injury, then we've done something wrong from the beginning.
Yeah.
So just, again, why not from the beginning have a partner like Chad and his company? And everyone's great. They're super helpful with everything.
Yeah.
They know what they're talking about.
Now, Chad, how good does that make you feel? A vote of confidence from the coach?
I feel it's great. And then being that they're from Trenton, I'm a Trenton guy. Grew up in Trenton all my life. It's like I'm coming home to help the team bring quality football back.
Nice. Now, Coach and I talked about the reputation, per se, of Trenton. Now, he's bringing a lot to the table to bring it back up. Now, what are you trying to do to help, I guess, bring it back to the way it was when you were growing up there?
Well, my goal is just to keep their players healthy, keep them bigger, faster, stronger, make sure they're what we do in the weight room translates to how they perform on the field.
Okay. Now, when it starts off, you got guys doing the drills, Can you tell right away that they've been sitting on the couch for 6 months or they've been training?
Well, first thing I'm going to do is take them through a full assessment.
Okay.
So I'll be able to tell who's training, what type of asymmetries, muscle imbalances they have. And that helps from an injury prevention standpoint. So I'll be able to tell this guy might be at a greater risk for injury than this guy. So we can address those concerns after we take the test and before we even start training them, give them corrective exercises to help improve that.
Now, do you talk to coach firsthand and say, hey, this guy, watch out for him. He might be prone to injury? Because obviously you don't want anyone to get hurt, right?
Right, and we will.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to stress to him that we're not going to micromanage. He is the guy. He is the boss of the guys' bodies and their well-being. And if he does his assessment, he comes back and he might find an injury that we don't know about. Maybe they made it through the physicals. But with that being said, I mean, he's responsible for him. And it's going to be completely his say. I don't really particularly care how the players feel because Chad's going to know. And he's taken that ownership. And whatever plan he puts him on, one will be aware. Of course, with our medical staff, they'll be aware if there's any injuries he does find. So at a point, it'll be collective under him at this point because that's what's going to go on. It passes through with the medical and they agree. Then we'll go from there. Whatever he says is how it's going to be. Because we want the players here for as shorter a time it is till we move them up.
Exactly.
And that's the whole goal. And if their body, the tool that they have is breaking down, really, he's not failing if I'm stopping him. I'm failing him. So, I mean, that's part of the ownership. He's going to say what they need to do. And I totally plan on him tracking it throughout the program he sets for each player.
Excellent. Now, Chad, where are you guys located?
We're located in Pennsauken, Route 38 West, 7007 Route 38 West.
Excellent. Now, how do you get customers or clients? Like, how do you get your clientele?
A lot of it's been just by word of mouth. We have videos on YouTube. A lot of guys go to our YouTube, see the work we've done. They see the athletes we work with, and they just like what they see, and they come work with us.
Nice. Give us a plug for the YouTube.
The YouTube, you can find us online, www.adrenalinesportsperformance.com, and that'll take you to our YouTube page, our Facebook page, and everything we're doing.
We'll be back after these messages.
So you've been thinking about changing careers? Well, now is the perfect time to check out Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Discover the exciting world of audio and video production. They have a campus right here in Cherry Hill.
Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or visit gocsb.com.
And we're back with star wide receiver Tom Schrader. Welcome to the Coaches Show.
Thanks.
Now, how did you become a part of the Trenton Freedom?
Word of mouth. Heard from a couple guys, told me to come up. Talked to a couple coaches. Came out, had a good day, and took off with, I've been talking to head coach, Coach Kev, for a while, and it's been going well.
Okay, now what's your football background?
Started off at Temple. Ended up over at Westchester, and now I'm here.
Excellent. Now, Coach, you have your own philosophies on football. Obviously, defensive guy. He's an offensive guy. How was he? What did you see into your plans to make him one of your first picks?
Well, just as the day went on, watching as we talked about earlier with Chad about how people test and what they're doing. And it was a really slow surface that day. And he still ran like a 4.41. And I'm just thinking in my head, maybe a tenth, maybe 2/10 for the surface. So he maybe possibly a low 4.3, high 4.3 guy. Then we got into doing the one-on-ones and running routes. And there were some defensive backs there that we were high on. I know other teams were looking at as well locally that wanted to sign them. And as I watched them run routes, they were falling on their butt, tripping over them, couldn't keep up with them. And watching the way he runs his routes, you can say 5 and into somebody, they think they're going to run 5 yards and just cut in. He just was above everybody else, and that's what we want to find. Like, people wonder, well, what's the guy in the NFL have that I don't have? Just watch the way they move. He's been well coached, and the athleticism is through the roof. And when I sit back and think the indoor game, I like to see people try to cover the guy. I think we're going to create a lot of good mismatches. He's got a 40-plus inch vert. People would sit back and see a 6 foot, 6'1", but add 40 inches to that.
Yeah.
And he could run and catch the ball. You could be 4'3" and run. That's great. 4'3", run and catch the ball. And not worry about the sudden stop of a wall or a safety coming and hitting you. And you could tell he just, by the way he processed the one-on-ones, looking at what the DBs were doing, running into their technique, letting the DBs make the move before he made his move. And I told him, like, from the waist to the shoulders is how he seems to run his routes. And literally, he just would give a move, and guys were literally falling down. And guys that, were D1 college guys that should have a pedigree that this shouldn't be something they can't see. And you just know right away this kid's something special. And as the workout went on and on and on, he just didn't stop. Just kept going and flying. And I didn't see him drop a ball. I seen some balls where the quarterbacks didn't help him out.
Yeah.
But you noticed that, like, well, it wasn't the wide receiver's fault. And you could see it, that he was where he was supposed to be. The ball wasn't where it was at. And that's coming from quarterbacks who haven't dealt with speed like he has, that professional speed. That the ball was way late. He's out of his break, and the ball should be on him. Quarterback's just releasing it.
Yeah.
And what you get in a lot of these workouts is the wide receivers now saying, I need to slow down. Well, now you just fell right into a trap because the D-backs ain't going to slow down. The quarterback has no other way to throw the ball but the way he knows how to throw the ball, and he did it. He knew that, so he's been trained. He's serious about his craft.
Nice. Now, you might be a little bit undersized to NFL standards. What did you see yourself as a receiver? As like a Wes Welker type, a slot receiver, or what?
Yeah, I can run slot. I can run outside on the numbers as well. But yeah, I'd like to be at a slot. I mean, I'm 6 foot, not as small as Wes Welker, but yeah.
You're fast as him, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, how does it feel that the coach talks about the praises you basically on your skill set and your vertical and everything? That's got to be a vote of confidence to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels good to have someone behind you. Absolutely.
Now, what do you envision him in the plans for this season?
Well,
without giving too much away.
Hopefully, we don't have him too long, and that might sound odd. But I really want us to be a stepping stone back to great organization and ownership. They want it to be the same way.
Yeah.
We have plans to get him out of here as fast as we can. The AFL's an option, but he really is an NFL wide receiver. Just underappreciated, underrated, probably under the radar. And what we need to do is just get him back on the radar. And some team is going to be lucky just to bring him in. Like, you'd hear, I want him signed by a team. He's not said it. He wants to be signed by anybody.
Yeah.
He said he wants the opportunity to be seen. And I understand the billion-dollar franchises out there and how they're going to look at it, but he's not even talked about, I want to be signed.
Yeah. I
want to be seen. And let somebody see him. And we'll be coming back here saying goodbye. Watching him on Sundays or Monday night is a good thing. I can't see too many teams overlooking him. He's extremely humble. The way he carried himself at the workout, you could just tell the guys about his craft, the way he works out. And something a lot of people don't know is he's never really been properly trained how to test. So we'll probably knock off another tenth or two, maybe add some inches to the vert. So he's only going to get better.
Yeah.
And we're going to partner with Chad at Adrenaline Sports, and we're going to make that happen. And hopefully get him into a combine here regionally here up in New Jersey here shortly. And if not, we'll just keep packaging the deal and packaging the commodity of Tom Schrader, and we'll send it off and see what happens to him.
Nice. Now, at the workout you were there, you had ice on your calf, and Coach was telling me that he wanted to still have you play, or you wanted to still play, and he's like, no, injury. He's like, tell me something. Like, what was going through your mind? You couldn't walk?
After 7 hours, man, both of my legs were cramping. So I tried going through it. Coach was like, no, man, you got to cut it down.
Thanks again, Tom. We look forward to seeing you in camp. Coach, thanks again.
Yes, sir.
It's your show, so we'll be seeing you soon.
Yes, sir.
Any other thoughts you want to say on season tickets or anything?
Yes, please go to TrentonFreedom.com. Season tickets and single game tickets are on sale. We look forward to seeing everyone out at the games.
Excellent. Look forward to seeing you. For everyone at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, I'm Darren Wimberg, Tom Schrader, Coach O'Hanlon. We'll see you guys next week.